The party starts with a hiss. That's normal here. Vents breathe, floors hum. The dome sets its own soundtrack and people learn to harmonize. Lonnie is 4. She wears a paper crown with a whale sticker bent over one ear. The cake is brown and honest, a little lopsided with blue LED lights pretending to be fire. She leans in, cheeks round, and blows hard at plastic. The lights keep glowing like stubborn stars. Everyone cheers anyway. That's the tradition. You celebrate the effort, not the physics. The kitchen smells like sweet yeast and metal. A wall meter blinks in the corner like an unblinking eye. 0037. Every minute counts down the way Drizzle eats a chalk drawing. Aya arrives with a toolbox on a strap and a smile that's half real. She's a field tech, which is a fancy way to say she keeps neighbors breathing and makes enemies in meeting rooms. She doesn't enter. She watches the mom cut cake with a plastic knife that flexes like a joke. She watches the meter drop to 0036. Bathroom fans hung, the grandfather says, as if that explains the math. Been grumbling for weeks. Aya kneels by the service panel. The lower screw has a personality. It wants a quarter turn and a soft hand. She gives it both. The metal warms under her palm. She presses her ear to the wall and listens, eyes closed. The way you do when a song you used to love is trying to remember itself. There it is, the dome's tired pitch. A D, always a D when the system's close to the edge. She hums that note back. Quiet. The valve eases. Air runs truer through a throat. That's only metal by accident. 10 seconds go by. The meter blinks to 0052 and then 0053 like a kid trying out a better mood. Lonnie's mom catches Aya's eye. Worry and relief pull in two directions. Do we owe you? Put it on my account, Aya says. She means it. Turn the lights into a game for the kids. When the hall warms, slow breaths. Count tiles. In for 4, out for 6. She taps the panel twice. Old habit. Not magic, just respect. The door chime breaks the moment. A slate suit steps in, neat shoes the color of rain. Several conversations end mid-word, which is also a tradition here when the director arrives. Lucan Vale has the kind of smile that looks printed. He nods to the room like he's at his own party and kneels by the meter with a practiced grace. He hears, because he is not a fool, the soft D in the wire. Administrative grace, he says, tapping a code. 48 hours while we review. A minor miscalculation. He doesn't look at Aya. She doesn't look at him. The meter purrs, happy to be included. Lonnie claps at the word grace because it sounds like a princess. Aya claps because the room needed a breath. Both truths coexist. Most do. In the stairwell, someone presses a paper cone of salty chips into Aya's hand as thanks. They taste like old oil and small love. She eats 2, leaves 3 for later. Work never ends on a full mouth. The underlevels run warm even on cold days. Pipes sweat. Algae tanks sigh. The lights buzz like old bees. Jiro's shop is 4 crates, a table that used to be a door, and a string of glass baubles that turn every draft into a tiny song. He spreads. Clear discs on the table. Small glints. Soft clicks. Minutes. Real ones. Family price, he says, palms up. Means I get to keep my jokes and you get to sleep. Aya flips a disc. It blinks green to show it's full, then a lazy yellow that says it will share if asked. You carve them out of purge cycles? Sometimes, Jiro says. Sometimes I talk nice to an old pump. Pumps like eye contact. You wouldn't know it, but they do. Rumor moves here the way condensation slides along a cold pipe. Quiet, steady, with a shape you can't stop. The big tanks are running richer than the board reports. Not once. Always. 5%. Like the city's lungs are taking bigger breaths. Off stage, then flattening their posture when the curtain goes up. Where's the extra go? Aya asks. Jiro points up with his eyes, not his finger. Up means the oxy floor. Up means a suit saying, trust me, in a room chilled for effect. Aya buys 2 discs with her own credits and leaves them in the jar that says, for babies and old lungs in crooked marker. Then she heads for the lungs, themselves. Tethys 4 is a green cathedral behind glass. The algae move like curtains in a steady wind. The room smells like damp coins and leaf tea. Mara keeps the choir in tune. Copper nail polish, sleeves rolled, a braid that's always out of place because the work keeps touching it. Gauges sing .83, Mara says, tapping a dial. Ledger swears .79. We call it smoothing. You can call it what you like. Hiding, Aya says, because some words deserve daylight. Mara doesn't argue. You want names? I want the path, Aya says. Names collect themselves on the walk. They stand shoulder to shoulder, watching numbers breathe. Above the tanks, fat pipes make a low chorus. Somewhere in that sound is the D that keeps saving Aya's day. Mara points with her chin, not her hand. Old habit, Cameras read fingers too easily. Path goes up. Of course it does, Aya says. Bad things love a view. The oxyfloor is colder than it needs to be. It's theater. The board glows a polite blue and speaks in tidy columns. Baseline, buffer, yield, all the words that make unfair things look inevitable. Aya reads a banner out loud. Behavioral elasticity, Lucan. Stands next to a junior analyst with hair that wants to behave. Scarcity isn't our enemy, he says, voice made of velvet rope. Surprise is, we tune for stability. Funny, Aya says. The clamps bite hardest in third hour on the blocks with too many children and not enough hall space. Feels less like tuning and more like teaching. Nothing here is accidental, Lucan says. He means it as a promise. She hears it as a threat. That night, a message slips into Aya's runner channel like a folded note in school. Want the names? See the auction? She expects a room. It's worse. It's a ghost column hiding in the live feed under the training overlay, a section nobody audits because it's not supposed to be real. Buy P-lanes. Emergency rehearsals with ribboned dates that match gala nights and visiting boards. Minutes sold ahead with nice words and worse math. The extra oxygen doesn't vanish. It curtsies and walks into expensive lungs. Aya traces the feed. It doesn't pass through copper. It passes through habit. Those are the hard pipes, the ones that live behind people's eyes. How do we take it back without breaking the dome? She texts. Sing first, Mara replies. See who joins. Shift change smells like honest coffee and rubber that's done its best. Mara leads Aya to a nothing panel in a corridor that's been mopped to a mirror. The panel is so boring it becomes a secret by accident. Early crew hid an extra door, Mara says. They liked music more than passwords. It's all ghosts and stubborn metal now, but it still listens. Aya hums a scale under her breath. C, D, E. There, the D. The panel shivers like a shy animal and wakes a gray menu with tired font. Hospitals, water pumps, sterilizers, elevators. Then a stupid telling thing, VIP event. Somebody thought they were clever. Aya drags VIP. Event down below seasonal lighting. She adds a safe little lie the scheduler loves. Prevents panic during drills. The machine makes a happy click. Machines love order. Names are for people. Show me the coil, Aya says. Mara smiles like someone remembering a song. She opens a grill with a key that used to be a spoon. Behind it sits a tight copper spiral wrapped in cloth that's been washed too many times. Secret bleed, Mara says. For bad batches. For when the math lies. Aya hums D. The coil warms. Downline. Valves take a longer breath. They build a ghost mirror of the board. A loop that says, everything normal, in a polite voice while Aya reroutes auction minutes. Into stairwells and clinics and blocks that cough at midnight. Not a flood. A generous drizzle. Enough to untie a knot without snapping the rope. The wire warms under Aya's hand. The tanks answer like a choir that knows the words. For one bright hour and a long half, the city breathes like it remembers how. A nurse in Ward C takes the first long sip of tea she's had in weeks. A janitor leans on a mop and hums without noticing. The noodle stall at B12 gives an extra spoon of broth by mistake. Then the clamp logic wakes up cranky. Numbers. Try to bite. Aya gives up her own cushion first, then the runner's dorm stash. Then a corridor's hidden party minutes with a note that says, sorry, pay it forward. Two rich blocks blink and ask why their hall lights dimmed while the clinic stayed bright. Security pings first polite, then hard. Lucan's voice arrives. Last, velvet edging into steel. You're playing with critical loads, Ms. Rowe. You will break something. I'm breaking a habit, Aya says. It squeals. Let it. When the reroute ends, the air sits heavy and happy like a tired dog. For a second, the city holds its breath, then, soft, scattered, people start tapping heels. A rhythm rolls through stairwells like water finding stairs. Applause the dome can afford. Grace runs out on paper. Stubbornness doesn't. Aya and Auntie Rose set up pay-forward baskets with double-knotted string and tags that read like friendly orders. Minutes for medicine. Braids for minutes. If you take one, tell a friend. A chalk line appears on the noodle stall's awning. Breathe full when lights warm. Share when they cool. Someone adds a small whale with a crooked smile. The whole sentence feels kinder after that. Dust rolls toward the dome like bruised weather. The board pitches a drill. Hold 5, exhale 7. Cameras on a jawline you can sell to a magazine. Looks neat on paper. Fails babies and old lungs. Aya. Tucks a patch into the scheduler with a harmless name. Lighting balance smoother. It isn't showy. It slides minutes toward stairs and clinics when the pressure dips and away from glossy elevators that can wait. Lucan finds her by Tethys 4. The tank light paints him sea green. He doesn't come to scold. He comes to bargain. Pin baseline. she says before he can do the throat-clearing thing. Say it out loud, publicly. No behavior tax during the storm. No teaching moments. Floor means floor. He looks at the algae like they might break the tie. For the duration, he says. Say the words. Baseline is a floor. He doesn't choke. Points for that. She lets the coil nap. For now. The dust hits. The patch holds. Stairwells hum in D. Clinics stay bright. Auntie Rowe turns her kettle on late so her neighbors can share the steam. In the west intake, a filter chokes. The board reaches for the third-hour clamp like it's the only tool they own. Aya flips 2 lines with boring names. A minute reigns where it matters. Security shows up with a rope and a tablet and the face people make when policy meets a person. She gives them 1 more minute because she can't help herself. The storm steps down from shouting to talking. In Natsai B12, someone hangs a sign. If you can sing, you can stay. Everyone stays. No one checks pitch. Morning tastes like apology dusted with tea. Lucan asks for a talk by a window that shows only their own reflections. He sets an offer. On the table that smells like power and patience. A desk, he says. Salary, route access. Fix 10 small things a week and we'll stop colliding in hallways. Aya places a ribboned printout next to his neat stack. Quiet auction receipts. VIP packets. Scheduled emergencies with dates that match dances and dinners. Show your math, she says. All of it. Baseline on line 1. No ghost lanes, no smile and nudge. Chaos scares people, he says. Soft voice. Meant to be kind. Lies kill them, she says. Not soft at all. They part on thin ice. He keeps his tone. She keeps her coil. In the corridors, Aya patches the wall panels to broadcast Oxy open. Live yields, real buffer, exact clamps. Not pretty, clear. People read, eyebrows do math. That's how quiet riots start. No shouting, just 2 neighbors muttering in agreement. The tanks need rest. The patch cools to a hum. The new habit doesn't. Every evening, footsteps roll the dome. Right, left, right. Like a sea you've only seen in stories. Kettles click on when corridor lights warm. Those who can spare a little steam lift lids late on purpose. Kids teach parents the D note with that bossy joy children get when they're right. The algorithm tries another nudge the next week. The floor doesn't move. Lucan pins baseline in public and holds the vowel on floor for a heartbeat because he's learning how words feel when you mean them. Jiro gets picked up for unlicensed minutes. He calls from a corridor that smells like bleach and boredom. I'm in a long hallway with bad chairs, he says. Bring a song. Mara shows up with copper nails and a look that means business. They hum the D together like a tiny strike. Jiro comes out with a warning and 3 jokes. It's not justice. It's proof somebody was watching. The school gym smells like floor wax and patience. Bleachers squeak. A folding table bows under pitchers of water that taste like copper and kindness. People bring their worst pens and their best intentions. Say it plain? The council chair asks. Aya does. First leaders aren't for sale, she says. They're the floor. Waste is a choice. Comfort is a budget. Luxury is a fee. Publish the buffer. Publish the cushion. Publish who touched what, when, and why. A junior analyst with careful hair and nervous hands clears their throat. Privilege ate the buffer, they say. The room doesn't laugh. The room hums a little D and lets the sentence land. Mara sets a coil on the table like bread. We'll sing with you, she says. To the council. Better with. Lucan reports, not sells. Pin baseline at a clear number. Retire behavior taxes. Scrap VIP lanes. Put the live feed where everyone can see it. Someone asks why trust should be given. Because you'll be watching, he says, and there isn't. A slogan hiding under the words. The vote isn't perfect. It's enough. The Breath Commons forms in a room that smells like cardboard and markers. They argue about labels and jokes. They pick simple words and add small stickers to tricky items. D for steady, G for give, F for fix now. Someone draws a whale next to baseline and suddenly the board looks less like a threat and more like a plan. Panels across the city update. Baseline, first leaders guaranteed. Buffer, 68 hours, updates hourly. Waste, taxed. People read. It like weather. A woman in B12 says, we could have had this the whole time. Her neighbor shakes his head. We have it now. Breathe. Old code dies slow. A week later, a subroutine mislabels 2 valves that have been neighbors since the seal set the first time. 7 is 3. 3 is cough. Not sabotage. Worse. Legacy. Lucan reaches for the ugly option. A hard clamp. Aya hears. The wrong label sing at her and does the strangest, simplest thing. She sings the wrong names on purpose with full confidence. 7 is 3, she tells the board, cheerful as a children's show. 3 is cough. Go to sleep, cough. Machines. Love, confidence. The failsafe yawns instead of biting. Pressure levels settle like a kid under a blanket. Lucan cancels the clamp and later calls it strategy. Fine. The dome calls it decent enough. Corridors answer with that rolling clap that started on the storm day. The board learns shame. Shame is a stubborn teacher. It sticks. They draft the plain thing into policy in the same gym, at cheaper tables. It isn't a poster. It isn't a press release. It's law. First leaders guaranteed, buffer published hourly, oversight with root access, no velvet lanes, public notes on every squeeze. Lucan asks for operators who can say first leaders without blinking. I'll send copper nails and bad. Aya says. He nods like that's exactly what he wanted. Training looks like small hands on big valves and a lot of, please listen before you touch. The D note becomes a tool, not a trick. Kids sing it for fun. Old folks use it when the vent coughs, everyone knows it now. The dome learns a new season. Normal. It's not flashy. It's loud kids, boring meters, and stares that feel friendly at 2 in the morning. It's a noodle stall that writes, sing for discount, and means it. Lonnie turns 5. The LED lights still don't burn, but no one resents them. They glow. That's enough. Aya brings a coil wrapped in blue cloth and sets it by the cake like a toy. It listens when you sing, she tells Lonnie. Does it make whales? Lonnie asks. It makes neighbors, Aya says. Whales are a bonus. Mara arrives scrubbed and smiling, copper nails chipped by work. Auntie Ro ties bright ribbons through a filter because decoration can still do a job. Jiro pours tea that tastes like duct and comfort and swears he never went to jail. He only visited a long hallway with bad chairs. Everyone laughs because fear has room to be a joke. Lucan doesn't come. Good. This isn't his scene. He sends a card that says, congratulations on your audacity. On the back, smaller, buffer at 96 hours. Don't get cocky. Fair. In the corridor, panels glow with oxy open. The whale sticker in the corner has become permanent. Kids tap it like a bell every time they pass. People still grumble about a tax on holiday fog machines. Good. Grumbling is proof you're alive. Before dawn, Aya leans her forehead to Tethys 4. The algae sway like a slow parade. She hums D, slides to C, and comes home again. The tank answers in bubbles and numbers. Machines don't love you. But if you stop lying to them, they respect you. That's enough for a life. At noon, the Commons fights about lantern nights, and whether confetti counts as waste if you sweep fast. They settle on lanterns shaped like whales because that makes kids giddy and costs almost nothing. Minutes are taken with a pencil covered in flower stickers. Someone fixes a loose hinge because that squeak has been bothering everyone for months. Evening cools the corridor lights. Nobody panics. A stall hangs a sign. Bring a song, get a bun. People sing badly. It works. Mars hangs outside like a patient bruise. The dome keeps dust out. The people keep the air honest. One breath at a time. Not a bill you fear. A promise you renew. And if now and then a valve needs a song, well, this city can carry a tune.